Welcome to the BCMA Show, brought to you by Southern Sound Outfit. Welcome everyone to a special Mardi Gras edition of the BCMA Show. It is Mardi Gras Day. Gotta wish happy Mardi Gras to all my fellow Louisiana Bayou State people out there having a good time. We got a great show today. We have a guest that has been on the show before, and last time he come back in July, and we were talking about his music, and now he's got a brand new album, Practice What I Preach, that just dropped. It's Mr. Jacob Bryant. How's it going, Jacob? Happy Mardi Gras, man.
Yeah, man, you too. I'm ready to get my Mardi Gras on myself, even though I'm over here in Georgia. But
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, before first things first, I have to say, Practice What I Preach. It's your first full-length record. Before we jump into the music and the writing, I have to ask, man, how does it feel to finally get this record out to the public?
man, it feels like a big weight's lifted off my shoulders because you and I had spoke, before about it, but we spent probably a year and a half, almost 2 years working on this thing, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, as old Richard Rawlings says from Gas Monkey Garage, but a lot of blood, sweat, tears, beers, whatever you want to call it, went into this record, and we're just really excited to get it out there, and the fans seem to really love it. And we charted number one on iTunes with it, and actually ended up charting on Billboard, which we weren't expecting at all, so it's went over really well, man, and I'm just excited to have it out finally.
Man, I can't even describe how proud and awesome I feel that it actually has, charted at number one and all that on iTunes and Billboard. Because this is a country music album through and through. And to me, man, country music is all about sharing a story, with your fans, whether it's a heartbreak story or something that went bad in your life, or even if just good old honky-tonk song. It's always, sharing a story, and you, sir, have always seemed to deliver on this attribute in all of your music. I mean, if anyone doesn't know your background and the past hells that you've been through, man, all they have to do is listen to your music and live through the lyrics and the melody. So, as a singer-songwriter, do you sometimes find it almost therapeutic to use music to get through all the craziness that we have in this life?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's funny you brought that up. I just sent comedian Ed Bassmaster on, who he is, but he does the Look at That videos and all that stuff. But anyway, he had posted an Instagram video of him just sitting there playing music, and you could tell he was like just lost in the guitar melody or whatever. And I sent him a message that said music is therapy. So yeah, I absolutely can say that music it took me from a very dark place into something better, and has been a vessel for me to ride on to get to where I'm at now. But yeah, man, I think music, something anybody, if they don't want to go talk to somebody or or dealing with something or whatever, they can just forget about everything for a minute and just dive into the song and the melody and the lyric and just forget for a minute, so it's definitely therapeutic.
Man, just going through the track list of this song, I mean, just every song that I go through, it's like a separate story, a whole different thing, man, but it's so much emotion and so much, you have a few songs that you had put out previously, on your EPs and your acoustic stuff, and then I know one that has to mean a lot to you. That's an awesome song is the one that you and Josh Phillips wrote. Sometimes I Pray, that you finally got to re-record that, man. So which song off of this album would you say means the most to you?
Definitely that one. That particular song, for the fans that don't know me, was wrote about my mom who passed away in 2010, and Josh and I kind of put together the general idea of the song and sat around for a while messing with it. We kind of stepped away from it for a minute, and one day Josh sends me a full track completely done, and I'm like, holy crap, dude, this guy's super talented. He took, some of my lyrics, some of his lyrics, and really made it what it was, and I give Josh a lot of kudos for that, but he really captured, my story with that thing, and I was blessed to be a writer on it with him and have a small part of it, but man, that particular song, everybody that knows me knows, I'm doing this because it was Mama's dream, not because it's my dream, or whatever. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, but I was the regular old guy that wouldn't, have a problem in the world with just having a family and swinging a hammer, you know. And Mama just always told me I needed to be doing something bigger than that, and I was too talented to let it go. So I was like, okay, whatever you say, Mom, you know.
Well, Mama was right, man. Mama was right, because you definitely have a gift from God up above, man, and it's awesome to see, and a lot of hype come into this, man. I mean, I know, like you said, you had songs on here that years and years. So it has to be feel like a big relief, you know, on your shoulders. And for the listeners that don't know who Josh Phillips is, I mean, Josh, great musician, great country artist. We've got mutual friends with Corey Adams and Swamp Assassin, and he reps the Swamp Assassin guys, and just great writer and artist. So I'm waiting on him to drop some new stuff here soon. So.
And he's got some crazy good stuff coming. I can't speak on his behalf on what's going on in his world, but there's some really, really good stuff coming that I know about, and everybody definitely needs to get excited about it for sure. Definitely.
So, Practice What I Preach. It's been out now for almost a month, and as we mentioned, the feedback's been awesome. Is any of this success or the I guess the speed of the success that it's had so far been a surprise to you in any way, or not really?
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I've mentioned before, I had, you know, no, I guess, hopes for it making it all the way to a Billboard chart as an independent artist. You know, I mean, we don't have a label or, you know, radio or any of those things, you know, helping us with this thing. It's just myself and my manager and my publicist, you know, so we got a three person camp, you know, trying to push this thing up the ladder, and you know, to see it chart on Billboard was very, very surprising to me, and you know, a blessing to know the fans are really attached to it like I was, you know, with some of these tracks, and just I don't know, man. Like you said, it is a release to get it out there, and it's also, you know, each one of those songs, even though if I didn't write them or if I did write them, you know, each one of them, there's something in it that I've lived or I wouldn't have cut it. So it's like, I don't know, they all kind of have a little soft spot in my heart somewhere, you know, for each and every one of them. And I'm glad that the people are, you know, connecting with it just like I did.
One of my personal favorites from the album is one that you put out as a single a while back, but it's on the album. And that's Best Part of Me Is You. Man, everybody knows that listens to us. We have a BCMA Top 40 Spotify chart, and this song has been on our chart for 13 weeks, and for 9 weeks in a row now, it has been a number one with damn near 2 million Spotify streams. Can you give us some insight on this song and a little bit of the background story behind it?
Yeah, I wrote that with actually Taylor Phillips, who wrote Hurricane for Luke, and he's been a writer and a buddy of mine for a while, but wrote that with him and a guy named Drew Baldridge, who's also an artist. But that song was about my fiance, Brittany, that I'm with now. You know, it was one of those things that I felt like, you know, the lyric was something every girl wanted to hear, and the girl that I'm talking about is the girl every guy wants, you know, the water to the fire and this cigarette, you know, like it's just, she was the antidote to all the bad stuff, you know, that wasn't going on in my life, and she didn't try to change me or anything like that. She just was there for me when I was going through a lot of stuff, and just, you know, listened and understood and kind of just let me, you know, grieve some situations. And man, I don't know, she's just my angel, man. And I wrote at least my best interpretation of what I would like to say to her, you know, with that song. But it's man, it's something.
It's definitely a song I relate to myself personally, man, because it's like you said, behind every man, every strong man is a stronger woman, and you know, being a country boy, I've been my fair share of been into bad situations, and man, my other half is definitely the same as you mentioned, man. Just it takes a great woman to support a stronger man, you know, and just having that song, I just relate so much to it, and to have that many streams and that much, man, you have a fan base that's really like something almost up to the marks of the Luke Combs fans with the bootleggers, man. I mean, these Jacob Bryant fans are die hard, like just passionate, good fans, man. So you definitely have a push behind you, man. So that's
they've named themselves Team JB, so they're always putting hashtag Team JB. So we just named our little fan club thing. Like we have a fan club exclusive T-shirt or whatever that we're going to send out to some of the fans or whatever. But it has the JB logo or whatever. It has hashtag Team JB or whatever. But yeah, you're right. They absolutely blow my mind on a daily basis of how much they get behind things and support it, and defy all odds when it comes to Facebook algorithms or whatever. I know a lot of people that aren't in the marketing world don't see it, but even though I have 300 and something thousand fans on Facebook, unless you spend a lot of money, everything I post don't even go to maybe a quarter of those people due to them squashing the algorithm and all that, whatever. But the fans share stuff so much and comment so much and get so involved that it just somehow goes pretty much viral anytime I post a video or whatever. So I can't thank them enough. And like I said, with just a 3-man team on this end, without them, I'd be nothing. So thank you to my Team JB followers, and I love y'all.
Well, at Bayou Country, we are Team JB, and I don't mean Justin Bieber. We mean Jacob Bryant. We are Team JB all the way, man. So, as we mentioned, this album is filled with just great song after great song, and we often have a lot of insight into Texas country scene and stuff from around here, man. And I know one of the songs, "Bring You Back," is off the album. That it's been making some push on the Texas country radio, being picked up by a few stations and trying to get some momentum going. So can you give us a little insight on that song?
Yeah, that one, good buddy of mine, Wyatt McCubbin, and another buddy of mine, Carson Chamberlain, was actually Keith Whitley's tour manager and stuff back in the day. Keith was one of my big influences. Anyway, long story short, they were nice enough to let me cut that song because it's something I related to. You can listen to the track and kind of take it one of two ways. It could be a lost lover that passed away or, went away or whatever, or it could be, a family member or, whatever. The lyric kind of leaves it open to the listener to relate to it in, whatever context they choose. And I liked that aspect of it because, once again, my parents, my dad and my mom, but unfortunately my mom passed away, but they've always meant a lot to me and supported me in what I did. And that particular song, it reminded me of going through that grieving process of losing my mother. That's kind of where, when the video comes out, the video actually debut on Billboard on the 13th of this month. But you'll see in that video kind of where my mind took it, and my producer, director, whatever you want to call it, for that video, Dustin, he did an incredible job with the storyline, and it really paints the picture that I had in my head for the song when I cut it. So I'm excited to get that out as well.
Man, I have to say, you have a Steven Spielberg-like group of videographers with you, man, because almost every song and video you've come out with off the album is just like a mini movie.
Yeah, I try to make it, something not like everything else. I mean, you got 10 million videos where it's a dude riding around in a truck with a chick or, whatever. And I don't know, country music, what made me love it was, the stories, like you said before, and the feeling of it, and watching something. And when you get done with it, having chills and going, man, dang, I'm going to have to listen to that again, So I've just tried to continue to keep my, I guess, inner want for real country music intact when it comes to the videos and the picture I'm trying to paint. Us as artists, I mean, I understand I'm doing it on an audio scale, but when it comes to a music video, you have to paint that picture with that lyric to really captivate some people who may or may not even listen to the song, but they might click that video because it looks like something that they could relate to. So we're just trying to do the best interpretation of what this crazy stuff I got in my head is. So.
You're just practicing what you preach, man. Just straight up. I mean, that's a great song and a great. Last time we talked to you, I remember you had mentioned the song and mentioned you had a co-writer on it that had I don't remember what the conversation was. I think we were talking about more than 1 year, and that song came up this was way back in July, but.
Right.
Jacob Bryant does practice what he preaches. I mean, it's you can see it in the music, you can see it in all of it, man. So obviously you're busy nonstop right now, between the new music and touring around. How do you find the time to just juggle life on the road and personal life at home?
Man, like I said before, I was just a real simple guy. I worked for my Uncle Barry building houses. And I don't know, man. I just have always had a good work ethic. So, like, the busyness and the being on the road, whatever, like, yeah, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. But at the end of the day, like, I've always been brought up, man provides, and you just got to go do it. No matter how hard it is, you just get up and go. So, I don't know. I keep my nose to the grindstone with it and just bust my ass every day and try to be a better man, try to treat people right, and keep climbing the ladder, man. It's a grind and it's hard. And I probably chose that, I guess, 1 in a million dream, but I'm one of those people. I'm not a quitter, and I won't quit until I do make it. So it's just one of them things. People are just going to have to jump on the train or get lost. That's the way it is.
Amen. So, man, what do you do for, I guess, downtime? What are some of your hobbies you like to do when you're not running around writing great country music and performing?
Tournament bass fishing probably be that, and golfing probably my 2 biggest hobbies. People laugh when I say golf because I'm a big old redneck Miller Lite drinking country singer, but some buddies of mine introduced me to the game of golf, and I always thought it was one of them, uppity sports or whatever. But you get out there, man, you just forget about everything and I don't know. It's the only sport you can beat yourself at, I guess. That one is a good stress reliever for me, and definitely bass fishing. My papa and my dad, growing up, always took me to our local lake here, Lake Lanier, and I remember Papa, when I was little, having me bite the end off one of them Zoom worms with salt and stuff, and I remember to this day going like, man, for some reason now I just love salt, and I think that might be why. But I used to chew on the end of them Zoom worms and stuff, but I don't know. I fish and golf for sure, and I guess a third would just be being with my family and my dogs, man. My fiance and my dogs, we sit around and just kind of take it in when we can, because a lot of times, like you said, during the week I'm either in Nashville or doing radio stuff or whatever, and then on the weekends we're playing shows, so I don't get a whole lot of downtime.
If you do follow JB on his social medias and stuff, I was going to mention golf because I do see you post, sometimes when you got some downtime, you post some stuff with golfing, and I've never golfed. I did some mini putt, but I could just imagine the country club scene whenever Jacob Bryant's out there on the, just seeing you out there, you like you said, just a red-haired country boy, and with the golf stuff, and just, I don't know, man. I think it's badass. I guess you're making it look badass, bringing it back like the Tiger Woods in Nashville.
I definitely scare them, I think, when I bring my crew in there. I did join a little, it's Travis Tritt, which I am a member of a country club. I did join a little local country club here in my hometown, Jasper, Georgia, but I joined down there. When I roll in there, there ain't no dress code, if you're paying dues at the country club. So I roll in there with regular old Levi 527s and cowboy boots and start teeing off dang golf balls, and everybody's looking at me like I'm funny, but it's still fun.
See, I'm too redneck for that, because you mix golf carts and beer. The last thing I'd be worried about is hitting a golf ball, end up going in the pond or something, trying to mud rot. It just would end up bad. But I'm gonna have to try it one day, man.
Well, I won't admit that we've never done that. Country club, but yeah, we a couple of my buddies might have got in a little mischief out there before.
Well, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the Texas country scene, which is, famous for its family-like atmosphere between the artists, and not to mention the incredible depth of talent. You're from Georgia, which is no stranger to producing amazing, talented country musicians. But you've been playing some shows, man, with some of the Lone Star State's elite country artists, man, such as Cody Johnson and Cole Wetzel. Can you describe the relationship you have with those guys and your personal thoughts on the Texas country scene?
Yeah, man, I think Texas has done it right. I know I am from Georgia, but I feel like everybody I've played with or, even made music with from Texas feels like family. And I have no doubt in my mind if I ever moved to Texas, I would feel like that's my home, and that's very hard for me to say because I've lived on the same dirt road my entire life. So, but no, Cody and his camp, man, I can't say anything but good things about them. We've known those guys for around 3 or 4 years now. And I've watched him climb the ladder and go from 200 people in a venue to selling out arenas and stuff. And he had us out in Tulsa on some arena dates with him and Easton Corbin and John Wolf and a couple other people. But long story short of it, man, Cody and Co. and Randall King and like all these guys, Josh Ward, Jake Worthington, all these guys out of Texas, man, I look up to all of them in different ways, of course. Co's more rock and roll and Cody's more traditional and whatever. But I don't know. I just look up to them for being pioneers for the same kind of thing I'm doing out here. Not letting somebody tell you how you need to sound or, this is what radio needs or whatever, man. It's just, it's what the fans want. They stick to it. They play it and they stick to their guns and look where Cody's at now. He's got probably, one of the greatest camps in country music, pretty much up until a couple months ago as an independent, did it all himself,
Record breaker. Sold out the Houston Rodeo as an independent. I mean, I'm a huge Kojo fan, and, man, I can't even describe how happy I am to see him getting the recognition from Nashville that he deserves, man. And much like yourself, he's part of that wave of artists keeping real country music alive. And on
top of that, he's an incredible guy too. Like you see a lot of these guys that have success, they let it change them, and that's one thing Cody ain't, man. He's
a great guy, great family man. I mean, his story and his background, I think, is really what you can look at as a testament, such as yourself, and just brought up the right way, man. And as I was saying, just keeping country music alive in a genre that's lately, over the past years, been flooded with bro country and pop stuff. And I think I speak for all country music fans when I say that we need a Kojo and JB collaboration as soon as possible. A song.
I'm ready. We definitely need to write something and at least put out a little video or something. I've been telling him that for a while. So
that would probably break the mold right there, man. That'd be awesome. And as I mentioned, I mean, you and Kojo had several shows y'all played this year already and last year, and you got shows booked for the future, and that's 3 sold-out shows, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of March. And, I mean, Cody's known for his energy and his stage presence, man, and he seems to always leave it all out on the stage for his fans. So has, touring with him in those shows helped kind of spark your inner Garth, I'm going to say, and become want to become that entertainer and that leave it all out there?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny you brought up Garth. I was never the biggest, and I'm not saying this in any disrespectful way at all, but like Garth wasn't necessarily like my biggest, artist I followed or whatever. But one thing I always did, respect about him is they'll leave it out there on the line. It don't matter how you feel; those people paid that money to come see you. And in this life, you have a lot of times you don't feel like going out there and doing it. You might not feel good, might have a stressful day or something that happened in your personal life, whatever. You got to go out there. You got to put it on the line because those people paid their hard-earned money to come see you. And Cody definitely does that, and absolutely that I look up to him and Garth as well as far as the entertainer aspect of things go, and try to walk out there and lead. When I walk off that stage, I want people to go, "What the hell just happened?" Like I just got kicked in the face by something.
Yeah, but it's awesome. I mean, you kind of have that passion and that just in your music and in your just overall demeanor. And it's funny to me because Cody himself is almost like a hybrid between a Garth and a George Strait, because he's gonna wear the clean Wranglers and the button up and the cowboy hat, but George Strait was, going to go down as one of the best to do it, but you didn't see him often do anything besides pick his guitar, Cody comes out there jumping off of stages and just like a madman, and it's awesome to see, the coming together of those, like we mentioned, the Texas country scene, and even guys such as yourself from Georgia, man. There's so many talented artists that come out of Georgia, and Alabama and Louisiana, and like you said, the Texas scene is just it has like a family atmosphere. And now that those guys like Randall and Cody and you and are breaking out into Nashville and bringing back real country music to to the speakers of the radio, that's something that I love to see, man.
Well, that old saying, "The South's gonna rise again," ain't political anymore. It's the South's gonna rise again in Southern music. I don't think it has to be traditional or Southern rock or whatever, but Southern music has always been a staple, man. And I think, regardless of what the radio thinks, we're all gonna have our time. When it comes to the fans, are eventually going to get to the point where they're like, "Man, I want something with some substance, a story behind it," and I think that's starting to happen, man. I think the ball's finally hit its tipping point. I think it's starting to roll our way.
It's definitely is, and one of my favorites that blew up, and a buddy of yours that you actually wrote with and got a song on his album, and that's Mr. Luke Combs. 5 singles out, 5 number ones, and that to me right there. I don't think that would have happened, say, 10 years ago, but just because of the shift that's going on. I mean, Luke is just a good old country boy, a great, got the voice, and comes on stage with a button-up shirt and a hunting cap, and he just that right there just goes to show that, like you said, the push and the movement's happening, man.
Yeah, Luke took something that I wish a lot more people would do, is the whole it's me with a fishing shirt and just like you said, a regular old hunting cap, and go out here, write songs and relate to people and make it. Anybody can. You just got to have the work ethic to want to get out there and do it, man. He definitely gave a lot of the dreamers a lot more hope, because for the longest time everything was about the look and whatever, and they can auto-tune if you sound bad, and Luke was one of those guys, you ain't got auto-tune.
No.
The dude can sing his ass off, so it's like, it doesn't matter what your look is or what your, clothes look like or whatever, man, but the song, at the end of the day, it all comes back to the song. You have a song that relates to people, and it just goes off like wildfire. I mean, Hurricane, you remember that movement. It was like every 2 seconds you turned on your radio, it didn't matter what station you turned it to, Hurricane was on. So
yeah, and I think
he definitely took it by storm.
I think it's a testament now to how he has made that like you said, broke that mold and put out "She Got the Best of Me," which was released years ago, and re-released it, same song, and hit number 1 just because they had a wider audience of people listening. So, like you said, that proves right there. I mean, such as yourself, man, you got. I don't want to be like fanboying or nothing, but to have a number 1 album come out on iTunes, as your first full album, that has to be something. I mean, that means something, That's definitely something that the hard work that you put in as a musician is paying off, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, man, like I said, I'm blessed. I kind of don't really know what to say when it comes to all this stuff. I'm just a guitar holder, man. As Granny used to say, we all use the bathroom on the same pot is the I guess more user friendly version of that. But you know exactly the saying I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But no, man, I don't look at myself as anything different other than just a man. And God put me here, and I think He put me here to touch people and write songs that'll help them. And that's what my plan is, man. I had a calling at a very young age. I was doing Christian music for the longest time, and then after Mom passed, I kind of went off the deep end there for a minute. But my goal is to kind of do it the Vince Gill way, and cut some country stuff, put out some stuff that's faith based. Kind of be the working man's preacher, per se. I ain't perfect. I drink beer. I cuss. I do all kind of things that are, not necessarily the greatest in the Lord's eyes, but I also, I like to get out here and at least tell people there's somebody there listening, and you don't have to be alone. I got songs like "Sometimes I Pray and Save My Soul" to prove that. So I'm excited for what the future holds for sure.
Jacob Bryant, an amateur golf pro, just writing songs, writing songs out there. And I'm not going to touch on the huge politically incorrect, God thing. And I'm a faithful believer, man. And to see, you mentioned we don't always do things that's in the Lord's eyes. Well, that's why we need the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So to just see the songs and the stories that you were able to come out with, from your past and how the Lord's worked in your life, man. So, and going through all that heartache, that does something. That's the Lord's work, man. That's something that it's touching his people and it heals. It's music's an awesome thing. So I'm gonna end that right there before we start getting cut off here from the government, for mentioning God or something. But yeah. So if you ever down
God's bigger than the government. So
you're right. You're very right. Let them come and take it. But. Yeah, so if you're in Georgia, and you at the country club and you happen to see a Jacob out there just teeing off, that he's just out there chilling. So leave him alone. Don't ask for no autographs or nothing. But man, as we mentioned at the top of the show, today's Mardi Gras, well known, Louisiana tradition. So in honor of that, to close out, I want to play a little Q&A game for you. I got 6 questions here, and it's just based off some Mardi Gras just trivia. So I'm going to ask them, and you just answer them best you can, and we're going to see how you fare. The first one is, do you know what Mardi Gras, the word, actually translates to in English?
I do not.
It actually means Fat Tuesday. It's in French. Let's see. One of the traditions of the holiday is a game of catch where you capture this animal. Is that animal a possum, an alligator, or a chicken?
I'd say a possum.
Wrong again. It is chicken.
Wrong again.
Chasing chickens. Have you ever chased a chicken?
I have. My papa, I'm probably I ain't gonna say his name, but he used to be one of them old school fighting chicken kind of people. So I used to have to
okay, yep. So we're going to politically correct. Turn that off. Not the same thing, but yeah. So he has chased a chicken. What dessert was made famous with Mardi Gras tradition from Louisiana? Was it a beignet, blackberry pie, or a king cake?
Man, that one's pretty tough. The one that sounds Louisiana is beignet, but I don't think that's right.
That's kind of a trick one because beignet is actually it is something, but king cake it is.
I was gonna say king cake because I've had that, and the person that gave it to me was from Louisiana, so that was what I was gonna say. So,
well, we'll give you that one. You got it. So the phrase people say it at the parade stuff. Throw me something, Mister. That refers to throwing of what item? Clothes, beads, or beer?
I'd say beer.
It actually is beads, but I'm gonna go with all of the above because.
Well, I was about to say beads is what you do at Mardi Gras. I mean, I get all that, but that mystic, I'm thinking something with some mist to it. I'm gonna throw some Miller Lite at me or something.
That definitely that was gonna be all of the above because they throw the clothes off, they throw beads, and then you throw beer at each other. It's a grand tradition of just partying, really. So just hope everybody has a safe holiday out there. And I still can't believe you didn't get the chicken one, man. I was just banking on it, and you come back with a fighting rooster story. So we're just gonna move on that one.
Well, like I said, I ain't gonna say my papa's name because I know that's illegal. But I've definitely got flogged by a couple fighting roosters before. So yes, I've chased a chicken.
Well, man, you need to come down to Louisiana for Mardi Gras and see the great tradition of us on horseback, drinking beer and throwing chickens out and running after them like a bunch of crazy people. Just one of the great traditions of the Mardi Gras holiday. Well, man, we had a great time. I had a great time talking with you, man, as always. You're definitely one of the ambassadors that's pushing real country music. And anytime you want to come back, man, and you we'll talk golf or whatever you want to do, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys and all your support, man. It takes some guys like you that actually believe in it and get behind things to actually make things work, man. So we're blessed to be, in touch with you, be friends with you guys, and we'll do anything you need us to do. If you need anything, holler at me.
Yes, sir. I'm going to probably need some golf lessons, but we'll hook up with that.
Well,
Guys,
I don't know how good I am at golf. I didn't say I was good. I just said I played. How about this? I'll teach you how to drink Miller Lite, and then we'll just swing a club at a little white ball, and it'll be fine. It don't matter how good we are at golf at that point.
Heck, I'm already halfway there. I'm good at that. Well, man, you guys be sure to check out JacobBryantMusic.com. Keep up with all the shows. Catch a show if you're in the area. Get some merch from them, and check out all the social medias and stuff. And if you haven't, and you live under a rock, go get Practice What I Preach now, available on all music platforms. And also, be sure to keep up with our BCMA Top 40 New Country chart, where Jacob's still holding number 1 for the 9th week with Best Part of Me Is You. So check that out, too, on our website at BayouCountryMusic.com.
I just want to say thank you, good Lord, for putting me in position on that. Thank you to the fans, and I love y'all. 2019's our year.
Well, that's it for this episode of the BCMA Show podcast. From all of us here at Bayou Country Music Association, we hope everyone has a blessed and safe Mardi Gras holiday. I want to thank Jacob Bryant for taking some time to be with us today. And, of course, thank all our friends and partners that you can find on our website at BayouCountryMusic.com under the tab Partners and Sponsors. Until next time, I'm Jacob here with the BCMA Show. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you for listening to this episode of the BCMA Show podcast, available on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio app, and our YouTube page. For more information, be sure and check out our website, BayouCountryMusic.com.